your body. We always talk about this. Your body was designed. You have the genetic capability to fast. It's uncomfortable. It's mentally uncomfortable, not physically uncomfortable. It's mentally uncomfortable. But the more you train your mind, the more you train your body, the healthier you'll be. Hey, this is Dr. Barrett. Thanks for joining us on the Real Health Podcast. My passion is to help equip you with information that can change your life, the health of your life, and the health of your families. I'm a board-certified chiropractic physician with a passion and emphasis in nutrition and sleep and how to biohack the body to get to a greater level of health. Thanks for listening in to the Real Health Podcast.
Hey, before we jump into today's episode, do me a favor. If you like this episode and you like hearing from Dr. B, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Instagram. We're really trying to get this health movement out. So without further ado, let's get to today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Health Podcast with Dr. B. We got Dr. B here, we got Lane here. We're going to continue to talk about fasting. We're going to talk about some fasting hacks. We're going to end the fasting series here today. We're actually recording this not at 6 a.m., so we're going to be it's a little more vibrant in here.
Oh, all right.
You've already adjusted some patience.
Yeah, just a couple.
And then we're going to you're not drinking on tea, because usually in the morning you're drinking on tea. Now what are you drinking on?
Well, I'm still in my intermittent fast, so I drink free-form amino acids. Mm-hmm. So it's actually coincidental enough. Good question. I was going to talk about that as a fasting hack.
Okay.
So let's just do that one right now.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Let's just do the fasting hack. Did you have a different cup yesterday?
Yeah. That was America. Red, white, and blue.
You have multiple cups. Are you you're a multiple cup guy?
I don't know where I put it. I go grab a new one from the gym. And then now I have a new one to my collection. And then a month later I find it and it stinks. And I throw it away.
That is.
But the stainless steel is a lot better than plastic. It's not as porous, so it doesn't hold the protein stank.
You know what I'm curious. I don't know how we're going down this rabbit hole, but glass containers are what people should be drinking out of.
Right.
So why have no one ever made a glass protein shake container? I mean, it could break, obviously.
Yeah, but there's a few out there that have like the silicone on the outside. So it's a glass, and then there's a silicone sleeve. Yeah. That helps protect it a little bit. But
maybe we should come out with a Real Health bottle.
That's glass.
A glass container. Would people buy that?
Yep. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe.
The biohack of the week.
So amino acids, a full spectrum, complete amino acids. Okay. So what we're talking about here is protein is broken down into amino acids. Now, those amino acids are used for energy. They're used for muscle recovery, for muscle strength. So when you're fasting, you can not spike your insulin. You can absorb these amino acids within literal minutes, and they immediately are utilized for energy without spiking your blood sugar. So it's much different than a protein shake in the sense of like a whey protein that your body has to metabolize and break down, spike your insulin. Free-form amino acids, one scoop, it's just a little scoop. It's equivalent to 30 grams of like a protein powder, 10 eggs. It's equivalent to, 8 ounces of lean meat, and it's immediately absorbed. So it's great for fasting because it keeps your energy levels up. It prevents muscle breakdown. So I use quite a bit. So each serving is about 5 grams of free-form amino acids. I'll use about 20 grams a day when I fast. Even during my intermittent fasting windows, I'll use 10 to 15 grams, especially because I train in the morning usually. So I'll drink them before I train. I'll drink them during my training and after I train. So it continues to support muscle growth and recovery, yet I'm not obviously consuming any calories, and it's not affecting my fast at all.
If someone wants to consume those amino acids, what should they look for on the shelf, or what should they look for?
Yeah, you're looking for not branched chain amino acids.
Not BCAAs.
No.
That's kind of what I was wondering.
Yeah, those are old. Those are old school. You're looking for what you would commonly call just complete amino acids. So on the back, there's going to be all these like really fancy scientific names for these amino acids. But if you just type in like complete amino acid powder, you just don't want anything with sucralose or artificial sweeteners, artificial colorings, artificial dyes. So some good brands out there is Kion. Who's that? Ben Greenfield's brand.
I was about to say that's Ben. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kion. Kion makes a good freeform amino acid.
Okay. I think the Bulletproof Coffee guys
Thorne
do
does. I'm not sure.
I thought I'd seen it before. Okay.
I'm not sure if Dave made freeform amino acids. So
what was the second one I interrupted you? Sorry,
Thorne Research.
Okay.
Thorne Research makes a great one.
Just designs.
Designs for Health makes one's called Amino Acid Supreme.
Do you have that here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then, or if you want to just reach out to us, Instagram, we'll put a full script order together for you and show you which ones that I consume, and you get them sent to you. So the big thing here is freeform amino acids are fantastic to use while you're fasting or in a fasting window if you're in an intermittent fasted state.
Okay.
For energy, brain energy, muscle energy, physical energy, cellular energy. But they don't spike your insulin. They are a phenomenal hack when it comes to fasting. And especially if you don't want to break down muscle proteins.
Yeah, and I think too what I have learned from you during fasting that I think a lot of people probably don't understand is there is a method and a science when it comes to fasting. Like, there are ways to biohack your fast per se, where you're not miserable.
We'll talk about a couple others like, hey, can I drink coffee? Can I drink tea? What else should I do? So we'll talk through some of those hacks at the end. Let's get into the 5-2.
5-2. Let's do it. If you haven't gone back, you need to listen to 1 meal a day. And remind me, Dr. B, 1 meal a day fasting. We've done every other day fasting.
1 meal a day, every other day.
And then now 5-2.
Yep, and a 5-2.
And
That's
a 5-2.
Right.
What do you want to start with this one?
Well, just to understand what it is. So we're eating normal for 5 days, and then we're fasting for 2. That's 7 days a week, and we repeat that. So Monday through Friday, normal food consumption. Saturday, Sunday, we fast. So what this would look like.
I would not be fasting on the weekends.
Okay, Monday, Tuesday, you fast, and then Wednesday through Sunday, normal food. So what this would look like is preferably you're on more of a high-protein, low-carbohydrate, moderate-fat diet so that we're keeping blood sugar levels regulated. We're doing that 5 days a week. And let's just say your caloric intake's about 2,000. So we'll just say 2,000 calories every day, 5 days. And then on the 2 fasting days, you're just like every other. We are doing a 500 calorie day. So really just doing one single meal, moderate size, moderate portion, 500 calories on those 2 quote unquote fasting days.
Okay.
So a little bit of caloric, obviously restriction on those 2 days. Preferably those 2 days are just protein with fat. So we're not spiking blood sugar, spiking insulin. So this is a great option also for people who are interested in doing extended fasts, right? And they're just kind of starting to train their body with, hey, this is what it feels like to be without food for 2 days, because you can go completely acaloric on those 2 days and not consume any calories, and slowly start to train your body to learn how to adapt without any fuel, so that you're really stepping into a deeper ketogenic state through those 2 days, and your body's becoming more metabolically flexible and adaptive, so that when you're ready for a 3 or 4 day fast, it's much, much easier. It's always the second day is for me the hardest. And so it's a great option for training your body for fasting, it's a great option for, kind of eating what seemingly is normal for 5 days, but then just having a couple of days back to fasting.
But you're still having a 500-calorie meal.
Yeah, you can. Yes, that's kind of the way it's structured. You can also not consume anything, just straight up fast for 2 days.
Yeah.
Or you just do bone broth for those 2 days if you really want to try to heal your gut. Mm-hmm. You're right. And the idea here is when you start to get into a multiple day back-to-back fast, when you're extending your true fast from 6 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, it's actually where you start to see the best results is when you're getting into that 36 to 48 hour range where you're in a deeper ketogenic state. Your blood sugars are really low. You're using ketones for energy. You're stepping into higher autophagy where your body's kind of in its cleanup mode. Your immune system's becoming stronger and more regulated. Your gut is healing because there's no nothing that you're putting into the digestive system that your body needs to break down. So this is a really good option if you want the benefit of extending those fasting windows, a little bit more autophagy, a little bit more ketosis. Mm-hmm. But again, you'd have to be acaloric for those 2 days and not consume any calories. Versus doing a 500-calorie meal that day will disrupt, your state of ketosis. It'll disrupt your autophagy, so you want to avoid that.
If someone's stepping into it and they want to have the 500-calorie because they're like, I'm not ready to do completely just bone broth for 2 days. When does it matter when they have that meal?
If they want to eat on those 2 days, mm-hmm. It's obviously, just like we said last week, better if you consume that meal first thing in the day.
In the morning. Okay, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
First thing in the day, you have that meal. That did have, there was another question that came up to me, and I just thought about it.
Okay.
And it had to do with, what was it? Goodness. I felt like it was a very good question, and I know that people probably would be curious about it. We
can come back to it.
Yeah, we can come back to it because I know that it was a good question.
Okay.
With the 5-2, the every other day fasting, and the 16-8, which one of those do you suggest for people to ease into fasting?
Probably the 16-8.
16-8, okay.
Just avoiding a meal, right?
Okay.
I think that's a great starting point.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I would go to 1 meal a day,
mm-hmm.
which is you're just eating. Now we're 20 to 22 hours of fasting, and then your progression there would be every other day.
Okay.
And then your next progression would be a 5-2, and then your final progression would be a 3 to 5 day water fast.
Okay.
Yeah,
I remember my question.
Hit me with it.
It came back to me.
Okay.
My question is, fasting, if you practice it or you want to practice it, a lot of times I feel like you will say, I can't wait when I get back from the beach. I've been eating so bad. I'm going to do a fast. I'm going to do an XYZ fast. I know I'm kind of leading you down the path to this because I just want to hear what you have to say. You do not, do you want to fast after you have been to the beach for 5 days and then you want to completely do a water fast? Is there a way to build up to fasting like a 5-2 or a 16-8, like instead of just eating terrible and then just completely falling off for 2 days? Do you want to prepare yourself for that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I think the issue there is really you got to ask the question, do I have an eating disorder, right? Because if you're going to a situation where you can't control your body, unless it's super restrictive, then we got something wrong between our two ears. How we see food and how we see our body, and do I feel guilty after I eat certain foods, or that's more, I'd say, emotional, right? So ideally, we want to be able to foundationally probably not even start with fasting. Mm-hmm. We probably just need a foundationally eat Whole30 or eat paleo until that becomes your norm. and you feel so good off of that any variance off that, it's just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just not worth eating dessert for me. It's not worth eating a chocolate cake or cheesecake or whatever. It's just not worth it. A donut, do I think about it? Do I dream about it? Yeah, but I'm not going to do it. It's just not worth it. I don't feel great after it. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just not willing to make that sacrifice, that 5 minutes of just sensory taste bud overload for a day or two of just fogginess and not feeling great, guts a little disruptive. It's just not worth it. So I would submit to you first, hey, why don't we create a healthy mindset around our food? Food is fuel. Food heals. And then if you do get into a predicament where, you went on a binger and ate a bunch of sugar for a couple days, a week, or whatever, you do want to reset, right?
Okay.
But your reset is quality nutrition. Your reset is not fasting.
Yeah.
Fasting is, we should fast when we're healthy, mentally, physically, not necessarily when we're in that like unhealthy state post binger, Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yes.
Yeah, so that's where I would be just really cautious, because then you're just, honestly, now you're just overeating, undereating, and you got a body self-image issue. So you just got to be very careful. Everyone has a body image issue. Everyone can look in the mirror and have some level of like, hey, I just want this to be a little better, a little tighter, a little stronger, a little bigger, a little smaller, whatever. And we think we're going to get there with our food in a week, a month, or maybe 6 months. But body composition is really the byproduct of years of healthy metabolism, healthy metabolic flexibility. So if you haven't been eating Whole30, if you haven't been eating paleo consistently, if you don't have a strong foundational nutrition plan, you got to start there. And then once you have established a healthy foundational nutrition plan, well, now we can step into biohacking the body with fasting, biohacking the body with other modalities versus using it as a means of accomplishing a short-term goal.
That's good. Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you for answering that, because that's what I thought about, especially going into today's episode, the concept of, like you said, kind of going on a bender and saying, oh, I'm done with fasting, or I'm going to fast for 2 days. 5-2. What else can we add to 5-2 for the listeners?
That's it. That's really it. Nothing much more than that.
Okay.
We can kind of wrap this fasting series up with just some like questions that most people have when it comes to fasting. Like, have you ever? I'm sure you've gotten questions of like, hey, is this allowed? Is this not allowed?
Yes, all the time.
When you fast.
Usually I ask those questions to myself while I'm staring at a pantry, and then I'm like, I'm going to allow this.
Yes.
Or I'm not
I say
going
the same thing.
I'm not going to allow this.
I'll tackle the first one, coffee. That's a lot of people ask, should I drink coffee when I fast? Does it disrupt my fast? So the answer is coffee in and of itself is fantastic while you fast. Actually stimulates autophagy. It helps the fast. It helps you burn fatty acids. So I love tea and coffee. But when you start adding things to your tea and coffee is where you definitely are stepping out of the realm, spiking insulin. So if you're adding some creamer to it, if you're adding whatever,
butter,
even collagen to it, butter, whatever, sure. Yeah, you're stepping out of your fasting lane for sure. So
does the toxicity of how coffee is help, or not? I'm not going to help, but will it hurt the fast? Because I know there's very toxic beans out there. So does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it can create some sluggishness in your liver, but nothing that I've seen evidence for to support one way or the other. I don't think it's not ideal from a health perspective. We should be eating, drinking organic mold-free coffee, and it may cause you to have a little brain fog or headache or something like that.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of it. But no, I don't know if it's really disrupting the fast itself.
The keto headache that I have received before, coffee will sometimes help me with that.
Yeah, you're going to help with blood vessel dilation. You're going to get a little bit more of that blood flow throughout the body, throughout the brain. So that can definitely help. So caffeine is fantastic for that.
So can you have coffee? Yes, that answered the question. Hopefully answered that one. Next one that you maybe get a lot.
Just kind of the keto thing, right? So when you are deprived of carbohydrates on a ketogenic diet, which in essence is insulin, okay, you're not spiking insulin, or you're fasting, so you don't have any fuel source coming in, which means your insulin levels are very low. Here's something that happens. Your kidneys are signaled, when insulin's high, you retain more fluid, more sodium.
Okay.
So that's why when you go low carb and you lose 5 pounds in the first 5 days, that's not fat. I'm sorry, I hate to burst your bubble, but all that 5 pounds, that's water weight. So here's what's happening. That water is coming out because your kidneys are actually pumping out more sodium. So you're becoming very sodium deprived. One, you're not getting sodium because you're fasting. You're not getting sodium for your diet. Two, typically you're not getting sodium when you're on a ketogenic diet. So as your sodium levels are dropping exogenously, which means from a food source, they're also dropping endogenously. Your kidneys are pushing more out into the urine.
Okay.
So you're becoming very sodium and electrolyte deficient. This is going to create fatigue, brain fog, low energy, potential headaches. So the keto flu, fasting symptoms can be related to electrolyte deficiency. So another hack is Element, LMNT, makes an electrolyte powder that's a perfect ratio of sodium, potassium, magnesium. It's 1,000 milligrams of sodium per pouch. And I'll usually consume about 5 of those a day when I fast.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a day just in normal, but when you fast. Oh, so do I. When I did my water fast recently, I'm convinced that those made my life easier. They
will significantly help offset symptoms. And so when you're fasting, intermittent fasting in the morning, take one in. It's the best time to do it. It's first thing in the morning. When you are on a ketogenic diet, make sure you're knocking down 2, 3, 4 of those a day, and also getting a ton of sodium in, salt in from salt itself, from actual like sea salt.
Yeah.
And then when you're fasting, a true fasting day, you're going to want 5,000 milligrams of sodium for sure. And there's just, I don't even want to get into the science of it. There's total myth surrounding sodium. And so if you were to say, hey, well, I thought sodium caused high blood pressure, we're just going to stop you there and just avoid that conversation altogether.
Yeah.
Because we're just not on the same understanding of what actually is happening from electrolyte balance standpoint. So I would tell you that is a huge hack. Massive is when we start taking in some element electrolyte packs.
And they're good too.
Yeah, you don't want the liquid IV that has sugar in it. That's really low sodium. You want high sodium. You want at least 1,000 milligrams. Every 3 to 5.
Telling that to someone, I don't know, you probably do it way more than I do, but telling someone that this packet has 1,000 milligrams, like
of sodium,
people sometimes it's so interesting. People either get it or they're like, what?
Oh yeah,
there's no way.
I know. Again, well, that's the 1980s idea of fat causes heart disease. Wrong. Sodium causes high blood. Wrong.
Too much red meat.
Wrong.
Milk.
Wrong. It's just a perpetuated myth from decades ago.
We should just do a whole episode of just things that are wrong.
Yeah, we just did 5. Those are wrong. It's crazy. So, no, you eating a donut is what's causing high cholesterol, and so I would say that's the first couple things there.
Okay.
Is coffee good?
Coffee good.
Sodium, need it. Get more of it. And then training. A lot of people ask about
that's good. Yeah.
What style of training should I do when I fast? And so the best is just easy recovery. So your body is stepping itself into a healing mode. So when we fast, on those maybe it's a 5-2, maybe it's every other day. On those fasting days, we just want to walk. We just want to do maybe a long stretch recovery session, but we don't want to go hammer it in the gym.
Go back squat.
You just don't have glucose. You don't have glycogen storage. So you're not going to be productive in the gym. You feel terrible. You're not going to go long in your sets and reps. So really there's two options. One, you use your creatine phosphate system. So that would be you can do a heavy lift, 1 to 3 rep lift. All right. So if you're a strength trainer, that's fantastic. 1 to 3 reps, bracket, rest 2 minutes, repeat. What you're doing is you're really just stressing your creatine phosphate system. That's more neurologically driven as well. Mm-hmm. So that's perfectly fine. There are many times where I'll pull heavy and just have longer recovery between sets. And then I'll just do zone 1 bike, zone 1 training. So you're just trying to keep your heart rate below 120, conversational pace. You can talk through the entire workout, 30, 40 minutes. That's all fat burning mode. You just don't want to get your heart rate up too high where obviously you're in more of a glycogenic state of using that as your source of fuel. So that's really where you start losing the benefit of fasting. So that's the training.
3 hacks right there. Mm-hmm. I love it. Coffee good, sodium good, training, conversational pace. 5-2, we've done a good, lengthy episodes on fasting. I hope they've been beneficial. Any last words for someone that still doesn't want to fast or is still contemplating it? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, don't do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
I'm not forcing you to do it.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So no, nothing more than your body. We always talk about this. Your body was designed. You have the genetic capability to fast. It's uncomfortable. It's mentally uncomfortable, not physically uncomfortable. It's mentally uncomfortable. But the more you train your mind, the more you train your body, the healthier you'll be. So step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Try an intermittent fast. Try 16-8. Extend that a little bit. Try every other meal, every other fast. Every other day, do a fast. Do a 5-2, 1 meal a day, something like that.
Perfect. Dr. B, another great episode. Thank you, sir. Guys, if you have any recommendations for future episodes, let us know via Instagram, Facebook, or just while we're in the office. And we appreciate you. Share this episode if you think it would be helpful for anyone. And we will see you next time on the Real Health Podcast with Dr. B.
Before you hit X, hold on 1 second. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the podcast today with Dr. B. 2 things that would really help the Real Health Podcast movement. 1, share it on your social media, your Facebook, your Instagram, wherever you're on a social network. And 2, if you go to Apple Podcast and you scroll down, give us a 5-star rating and give us a review. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you next episode.